We are live. Okay, what is up, gang?
What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody? We're gonna let some people chalk in here. We got Shane. What's up, Shane? Alex, what's up? I'm trying to see underneath my camera here. Maybe I'm gonna move it a little bit so I can read this. All right. Well, I got my guest here, Daniel Del Rene. Goes by Del Rene Del Pino.
Pino.
Yep. And I have known this guy for many
Wow.
What is it? 23?
Early 90s, 91?
90. No, late 90s.
No.
That's
91,
right.
bro. It was like
92,
early 91,
92.
92. I mean, I saw you in the news bulletin.
What's up, Jason? What's up, Masher? Mal Capone in the house.
That's a cool name.
What's up, Nick?
Masha.
Okay, so I'm introducing Danny. You guys, I wanted to just do something different, which is include interesting people in the podcast. And I don't know that there are the webcasts, whatever you want to call this thing. They're not always going to have to do with audio. We can weave audio in if you guys want to ask audio questions. I'll answer them. Okay, during this stream. But what I want to see is this a format that you guys like? Is it cool to meet people that I find motivating or interesting or what have you? And so Danny here, I call him Danny.
That's how he knows me.
I call him Danny. Is someone we met, whatever we were saying, early 90s.
Yeah.
We were working for a company in San Francisco, South San Francisco, selling artwork
Yes,
together. We were door to door sales people on the same crew and the same company. And I've just kept in touch. We kept in touch ever since. This guy has done 1,000,001 things after pictures, kind of like I did, but which has ranged from motivational speaking and to personal chef and chef, ran a restaurant, vegan cooking,
vegetarian cooking.
Went to school for behavioral psychology.
That's right.
Became a behavioral psychologist or
behavioralist.
Behavioralist.
So we focused on behavior rather than the talk therapy.
Okay. And you work with youth?
Behaviors. I worked with seniors. I checked out the memory care aspect. Working with seniors. I worked with kids. Worked with special needs kids.
Okay.
But I kind of ended up on the at-risk youth.
Okay.
Demographics.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. And then ultimately, he unplugged, looking for a simpler life. He was in Arkansas. He ended up in Arkansas. And what's most motivating to me is that he started with $500, no job, and an RV that he drove out there with. And he has proceeded through, I wouldn't say hook or by crook, because you don't do anything illegal, right?
No.
But it's like, but however you needed to make it happen. Now he owns 7 properties in the town that he's in. He's in a small rural town in Arkansas, and he built a tiny home on one, and he's going to develop the other ones. But the house that I saw that you built, man, is built out of like leftover construction supplies, essentially, right?
As the YouTubers say, and it's upcycled, recycled, repurposed. I took about 88% of the home that I built. It's the double-decker, 500 down, 500 up. It's about 88% recycled or repurposed wood materials. For example, in my kitchen, I wanted these new tin tiles you get at Lowe's or Home Depot, but I went there and they're really expensive. So I was like, how can I recreate this on a budget, like a DIY thing? And my neighbor, he's a drinker, man. He drinks beer and he drinks these big, huge Milwaukee's, whatever. And they got these bottoms like this and they're all tin. So I just cut them out and I F26 into the wall and grouted them in. And now I got this kick-ass backdrop wall back in my kitchen counter, like most people put tile. So that's just one example. I can be here for 4 hours telling you about all the little things I've repurposed. But if you guys got any questions about, repurposing something you have that you want to toss, I can help you figure a way to repurpose it and turn it into a bird bath. It's just like one of my little magic skills I have. I don't know.
Told, so. And then asked go to construction sites and ask them to dig through their dumpster and just pull out whatever they're not using, whatever scraps, whatever. And then he's actually built a house and he lives in it. and he owns the property. And
Outright.
it's like, you know, it's like, it's amazing to me. I think I find it crazy that Daniel Miller, don't you live in a single wide or a double wide out in Pennsylvania somewhere in a trailer? So Daniel can relate to sort of what would you say, like small space living, you know? My thoughts on the higher end Yamaha amps. I'm not into Yamaha. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of amazing. And it's just amazing what you can do with next to nothing. I'm blown away. Okay, so I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that goes out, buys it new, you know, and just, you know, bites the bullet,
Unwraps
and
it out of
does
the box and
Yeah.
throws it to the wall. See?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm going to relate to people who like to cook out there. I'm also a vegan vegetarian chef, and I wasn't formally trained. I kind of taught myself, but it's imagine just salt and pepper lifestyle, like just the simplest herbs and the simplest spices to make you happy. That's what I find. My dad was a general contractor, and I saw him reuse and repurpose, and like an artist turn scrap into something amazing. And then people just like, wow, you did what with this? You got this from where? And that was a big inspiration to me. And I just love taking something that someone throws away and fixing it or turning it into art. So really, you know, if anything, you know, I'm a Renaissance artist, like man, in the sense that I take something and I figure it out. I mean, we have enough YouTube channels out there and instruction to take something apart and make it whole again. I'll give you an example. I found a shop vac that was the size of like an oil dumpster on the side of the road in the box.
Yeah.
And I stopped and I said, hey, buddy, you throwing that out? He's like, yeah, it doesn't work. Well, I took it home. 6 minutes later, I soldered a little wire, a mouse had chewed, and now it's working. I Googled it. It was like $213 with tax.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, people throw away stuff. We have creative minds. And if we see something, we can take it and we can turn it into something special. You know, like Mike does with all your equipment, your cords and stuff. Like, that's, to me, that's amazing. So you inspire me back, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's what was I gonna say, when you first moved there? Now tell us, like, well, first of all, you guys should know Daniel grew up in Marin County. So if you guys know California, you know what Marin County is. Okay. I mean, that's where all the kids I mean, whose kids do you know?
Okay, so I grew up
you know, does Santana have kids? I know Santana lives up
like
there.
I grew up with Trixie Garcia in high school, Jerry's daughter, China Cantner, you know, Grace Slick's daughter and Paul Cantner's daughter. Like, when she was in a foster home, we used to go smoke cigarettes like 10 years old and sneak her out of the house and stuff. And I didn't know who she really was at the time, but retrospect, you see her on MTV or something, you're like, I know her, you know. My whole life has been sprinkled in with famous people that I really, you know, thinking about it, I lived off a lot of their leftovers.
Yeah.
You know, my dad would build a house for some famous person, and the young kid got a pink Vespa for Christmas, and he didn't like it because it was pink or red. And the mom would be like, oh, you walk from the bus stop here? Do you want this Vespa? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. You know, so maybe, you know, now I'm thinking about it, maybe back then that acts of kindness inspired me upcycling stuff today. Who knows? Like, I mean, we can have a whole brainstorm of that one. That's a whole nother episode, I guess. But yeah, like, it's just, I grew up with a lot of famous people, really wealthy area. And then in the art business, you know, it was pretty well off, made some money, and moved to Florida, did some business consulting and motivation of sales and training, raised kids on my own. And then by the time I got to where I'm at now in my life, I was like, I want a simple life. You know, I saw these little tiny homes. I'm like, I could do that. And I just kind of broke away slowly from the 3D world. And I drove around until I found a good place on land, and I called people, and I picked up small lots for $200, $300, $500 to $2,500.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Like,
so you can
in America,
where he is, you can buy residential lots that are how big?
Well, I have 2 lots that are about 1/10 of an acre.
Okay,
I got another lot. I got another lot, but you can build on them.
What are you talking about? $800?
Yeah, no, those, I think I paid $500 for one.
Yeah,
$300 for another one, and $240 for another one. In
and
America,
you got some land up on Shasta too.
Yeah, I own 3 acres up in Mount Shasta, Modoc County area, Medicine Lake area. Very spiritual, and you know, it's like that's kind of where I was doing all the vegan and vegetarian.
And that
chefing.
was also like $800.
No, that one a little bit more, but still comparable. In California, I bought 3 acres for like $4,000, and now that land, one of those lots is worth about 17.
Yeah.
So, and that was only a couple years ago. So yeah, I mean, there is opportunity if you guys are willing to like do the research and the due diligence online and, you know, foreclosed properties, tax lien properties. I mean, mine, I didn't know that at the time were that. I just bought them through the venues I bought. And then I learned that later that, yeah, this was a defaulted property because the lady died and she didn't have any siblings or anybody to leave it to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, you know, it's like finding that, you know, that Gibson guitar in an old garage that no one knew was there. And you bought the lot or you bought the house and all of a sudden it comes with it. Like
yeah,
no one else appreciates it, you know,
for sure.
but you find those little treasures. And I just been blessed enough that treasures just fall at my feet. Like there's great
it's pretty much anybody can do that. It's about having faith, right?
Yeah,
just like believing that it'll happen. The planet will take care of you, right? If you do the next best thing. I'm gonna read a couple of these. Hello from Delta 0074 en route to Amsterdam and the Denmark. Eric is going to the Denmark. Nice tech being able to listen at 10,000 feet. Yeah. Sweet, man. That's pretty low actually for an airliner, isn't it? So we should ask Malcolm, what's cruising altitude for an airliner? I think it's like 30,000 feet.
Is he in a
Daniel
private jet?
Cubano. Daniel is Mexicano. De Leon. Freddie De Leon. Hello to Mikey and your guests. An inspirational example of hammering away to get somewhere. It's true, man. And the same has to do with hi-fi. You know, I mean, you build a system and deal with what you had. Look, for the longest time, my hi-fi system was in my little ass pickup truck. That's how I got my tunes, was listening in a little pickup truck. And you know what? It was killer, man. Dude, the same experience I get in my big rig right now is the same experience that I got when I was in my truck. Well, obviously it's different, right? But in terms of internal fulfillment, I was as stoked in my car. I can remember driving around that little truck and being so stoked with the music. You know, I don't have the amps up there, but I had precision power. I still have it out in my little pickup out there. PPI Art Series, JL Audio, and it's just a kick-ass system in a little shit-ass truck. But man, when I was driving around, there was nothing better. I felt like I was I was cooler than the guy in the Porsche because of my audio. That's how I felt.
You bounced him down the street, right?
Oh yeah. And so it's the same. The same goes for, you know, anything in life, really. It's perception and then making the best with what you have and enjoying what you have. You know, you've heard me talk about that a lot lately. So Nick is from California and he's never heard of Marin. Sure, you haven't. You've heard. He's joking. He's joking. How could you not hear of Marin? Today's his birthday, the big 3-0. Nicholas, right on, brother. Happy birthday, man. All right. You made it to 30, man. I didn't think you'd do that.
Feliz cumpleaños, mano.
Feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday, says Mal Capone. Eric just lifted off. Right on. So that's why he's at 10,000 feet. Okay. Mike, use jumper cables for speaker wire back then. Exactly. Hey, boys, from your friendly tribe neighbor to the north, Chris. What's up, Chris? Rock on from Detroit, the Motor City, Detroit, baby. Yeah. Welcome to the 30s Club, Nicholas. Yes, happy birthday, man. Everybody's giving the happy birthdays. So look, it's open season. If you guys want to fire away with anything, we can default to hi-fi. You know, I think what I'm realizing is if I have guests, I better have like a format all laid out and written out and planned out.
It's a new thing.
Otherwise,
though, right?
It is a new thing. Yeah, so I'm curveballing people. So they don't even know what to do. They're like, scratching their head. I came here for hi-fi. But so fire away if you guys want to have any questions. You know, I wonder if I can bring up some things, man. I'm going to start. Let me know what you guys think about this. Look, Jason says, Danny, what's your favorite way to uncover deals on residential lots?
Okay, so Jason, I'll tell you right now, first of all, I'm a people person and not everybody can go just approach somebody and talk to them. I find it easy. I've numerous times, I just ask, I'll ask the neighbor, hey, who owns that lot next to you? That's one way to do it, by just networking. Another way is you can go down to your county clerk's office and go ask for the parcels. Sometimes the court system will put default properties on a pad of paper on a clipboard, and you can just flip through them and you find the zip code and you can find them that way. You can sometimes pay like a subscription to the county roster, and they can update you. Not every city, not every state, not every county has it, but you can update yourself on like a notification, like an alert system when auctions are going to be held soon, this and that and the other. The way I found it was through a real estate agent who told me about her brother who just flips land and lots. And he directed me to Craigslist initially and Facebook Marketplace and like just little things that go to market that we already have access to. And I started looking and I found areas and I'm like, oh, that's a nice area. And I was able to drive out to that area. If not, I used Google Maps to kind of assess the area where the nearest lake was. What's the biggest anchor in that area? Is it a state park? Is there a movie theater? What kind of businesses are there? So these are some of the things that I looked at initially. The reason I chose the town that I'm in is because it was about an hour west of Memphis, Tennessee. I play a little bit of harmonica, not the best, but I love the blues. I love jazz. And so I wanted to like go to like a jazz blues club and open mic night. So I wanted to be close enough to a big city, but far enough away where I was detached from the 3D world and things. And I just wanted to kind of live off the grid, but I'm not really off the grid because the lot that I found, fortunately enough, had city, sewer, water, and electricity on the corner. All I had to do was call 811, find out where it was underground and tap into it. Now, where I am at, it's not as crazy as buying land and getting a permit out in California. You could in Arkansas, you could buy a tiny shed, put it on a lot, plumb it, run electricity through it, and you can call it a home. Like California, you can't do that. So you have to check with your state, you got to check with your city, your code enforcer, and find out what the codes are. But let me tell you, with the housing crisis in America, they're letting a lot of slide. As you folks know, in California, they're letting RVs live on the side of the street because of housing crisis. So, and I know a lot of people making an exodus. I have friends that are asking me, text me all the time, like, where are you in Arkansas? Show me. Like, same question that Jason asked, like, how do I find land that cheap? So I just asked a lot of questions. And you know what? I called, sometimes they'll put a for sale sign and I'll call one guy. He wanted $3,000 for this lot. I'm like, well, I'll give you $2,000. And he's like, no, I want $3,000. So I found a way to do some labor, help him out. He's an older guy, cleaned up his other yard. And, we did kind of like a bartering system. Maybe that might work for you. I don't know. Another guy said, hey, tell you what, you can have that lot. I'm moving that house out of the way, so that was an opportunity, but I didn't act in time and someone else picked it up. So all they want to do is move the house off the lot to another lot, and you clean up the lot. And I could have got the lot free, but I didn't act fast enough. So there's a lot of missed opportunities too. I ended up with four residential properties in a small town that I picked up for under $2,000. Mostly three of them were under $1,000. And then I picked up 3 commercial lots for about $1,000 a piece. One actually has a historical value. So I'm going to look into grants that might help me restore that. So there's a lot of opportunity. You just got to ask. If you just dig.
You just go figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one guy, he wants to give me a house because it's too much of a tax thing. It's farther. He bought it in a clump sale with properties all over Arkansas. And this one's farther away from everything, but he wants to give it to a nonprofit. So if I were to start a nonprofit of some kind, I could actually acquire brick house for free. All you got to do is clean it up and restore, new sheetrock or something. So there are so many opportunities, but you have to look at where you want to live. Like I love nature. There's 2 national parks. I go meditate in the woods. I go hiking. I go fishing. I do all that fun stuff in these national parks that are only about 30 minutes away from I'm at. I got 2 big cities, about an hour in different directions. I'm 4 hours to Chicago, 17 hours to the Mexican border where I've landed in Mexico. Like I got 12 hours to Florida to see my kids, 12 hours to Minnesota to see my aunts and uncles. So
to see the ice, the snow.
Well, it's just family. Like Memphis Airport's a hub. I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And my overhead is so low because I own the house that I built. I don't owe the man anything.
Yeah,
and so
it's crazy. Like you talk about like that place. I remember when Danny bought that place and there was no home. No, and you're like, I'm pouring a slab and I'm gonna build a house. And I'm like, right. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, you're just gonna build a house, And you're like, yeah, man, I can do it. Yeah. My dad and I used to do this shit. Like, I know how to do it. I'm gonna find some stuff and I'm gonna find some lumber and I'm gonna frame it up and then and he's telling me all this shit. Just like so many people have these big dreams, right? And the next thing you know, I'm like, dude, how's that house going? He's like, it's 2 stories. And I live there with my dogs. And I'm like, I built it. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, send me pictures. He sent me pictures, and I see this whole thing. And then it's like, you know, he got a truck that he traded for work. He labored for a guy. Guy gave him a truck that wasn't really working. Danny fixed it up. He put a freaking sleeper that he got from another place that had a semi-tractor trailer sleeper. He put it onto the back of this GMC Sierra whatever. He took the bed off and he set a sleeper back up, cut the hole through the back, so he's got a sleeper on the back of a Chevy 1500. It's just like crazy.
It's like Frankenstein truck, really. But
total. It's like DIY times a million, you know, which is like funny. I know a lot of you guys are DIYers that are on the channel. That's why I thought Danny would be an interesting guy for you guys to just see how, you know, you can make something out of nothing. In our country, we have so much opportunity, and we have so much what's the word?
Waste.
That's it. Like extra opulence, or what's the word I'm thinking of, overage, you know, or whatever. There's another word for it. Excess. We have so much excess that you can just build a house almost, I mean, on a shoestring. It's ridiculous. And this isn't just it's an actual it's a house.
It's a house, man.
It's got cool windows. I saw he got some arched windows so that you got, and so it's got Spider-Man eyes on it. You know?
So let me tell you a story about some of the windows. Growing up in Marin, the Goodwill was like the go-to place to like find coffee cups and stuff. And my dad and I, we moved around a lot, so we always left silverware and stuff behind. Well, there's now a Goodwill store of contractors. One of the places has the leftovers from Habitat for Humanity. They have a funding store called Restore It, I believe. I'm not sponsored by them, but I use them a lot. And they have windows, and they have doors, and they have all these like goodies that are like a tenth of a price that you get at Home Depot or Lowe's new. Some are like antique handles and brass doors, some crystal doorknobs, like all whole vintage stuff, and then they also modern stuff. Yeah. And I found, if you can imagine the window from Doctor Strange, like that round window, this window, there's 4 pizza pies to make a window similar to that, and 2 of them are broken. So I bought the 2, and I used them in the top corner of my house.
Yeah, it's like an arched window.
Yeah, I would love to show you guys pictures.
It's if you take a circle and you cut it into 4,
like a pizza pie.
It's got the 2 top. It's the 2 top parts, and you put it on a corner, so it's 2 eyes. It looks like a Spidey mask.
Yeah, or what's that, Uncle Olaf?
Oh yeah, I don't know. You got me.
That's the Anyway,
let's see. So Mark says Marin County is considered the birthplace of mountain biking. Yeah, it sure was. Oh, as a matter of fact, I remember my buddy, dude, back in the late '80s, when I moved to California. No, it was the early '90s, 1990, maybe 91. Lumpy used to bomb the hills, Mount Tam. Yeah. Mount Tamalpais.
Yeah, Mount Tamalpais.
And they used to do it with steel Schwinn bikes, like big, heavy ass, because they wouldn't break. And he would bomb the hills. You'd go up to the top of the hills and fucking bomb it all the way down, just like sketchy as hell. And that was mountain bike. I remember him telling me, "Yeah, man, I got this old Schwinn, and I go up to the top of the hill and we bomb it, all the way down."
And it's not like a dirt road, so
sketchy.
In early 1970s, my dad had a construction company, like you were saying. Yeah. And some of his guys, I'm still friends with, they were part of a team called the Tri-Levelators. And they were like the first mountain bike guys who put 10-speed tires on dirt bikes and things and stuff like that. And they were the first ones down. Years into the mid 80s, early 80s, Marin Mountain Bike started. And my dad built Bob Buckley's home. And so we were thinking that, we're going to get Marin mountain bikes for Christmas, but because we were so friends, we hung out with the kids and stuff. But yeah, I had a Marin mountain bike. It's just like Marin was the place. And Mount Tamalpais. Oh, funny story about mountain bikes in Mount Tamalpais. There was a guy in a VW bus that would charge like $3 to take you up to the top of the hill. And that's all he did all day was just run people up and down.
That's right. Yeah, he told me about that. They would hitchhike up.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so Forever System for 2024 was inspiring, Mike. Oh, yeah, I got to show these things, man. Was inspiring, Mike. Thanks. Any recommendations for a nice CD player with balanced out? No, I really don't have any recommendations for CD players. To me, they're outdated, and I don't really see any reason for them, and I don't think they are money well spent, quite honestly. If you're going to buy a CD player, buy a used TIAC, buy a used Esoteric. You know, esoteric even better. It's newer TIAC, but there's some from the same DNA. You know, buy an older TIAC. I'm sorry, an older esoteric, and use that. But to buy a CD transport, they and also the thing about buying a used esoteric is you better make sure that laser's still good. Those lasers have a duty life, and they're only good for so long, and then you got to replace the laser. So they're kind of like antiquated. You know, it's much better to stream or rip your collection, in my opinion. Take all the CDs you have, rip them to a hard drive, and play them back as a file. And there's less jitter, and it's just better all the way around than to spin a disc. So I don't have a recommendation. I'm sorry. Osseo, so I'm sorry. Dire Straits says, Aussie, audiophile, also known as the man. You know it, man. This is Shane, my boy, down there. He is the Australian, at least in Melbourne, our arm of the Hi-Fi tribe, and we will be doing an introduction show for him soon. Off Grid, Philip says, you know what, Mark K is right. Mal Capone knows that about mountain biking. Funny thing is the guy I'm buying the old Magnapans wants to sell me a boatload of PPI car audio. Those were some powerful amps. Tommy, find out if are they new in the box? And find out what PPI stuff, because if they're the white ones, the art series, I might be interested. I haven't done a car system in a long time, but just for fun, I might do one maybe. Again, if Wanamaker is paying attention here, he's going to help me. Danny, Danny, you've gotten a lot done. Daniel says, yeah, dude, this guy doesn't stop, man. He goes like nuts. Can we see a picture of the house? Yeah, you got a picture on your phone? We can hold it up.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, show us the picture.
You keep answering, I'll find it.
Okay. So Always Pushing says, I should have you call my wife. I cannot convince her to let me snag around $5,000 for my next upgrade, a 98 or 100-inch television, probably because I'm not a people person. Yeah. You know, dude, go to Costco, bro. For $900, I saw like an 80-inch, something retarded, like an 80-inch for $900 at Costco, man. They're cheap nowadays. It's unbelievable. Eric says, just such an inspiration to hear. Definitely light years away from Generation Z. Yeah, I know. I get it, man. What do we see? Mal Capone. Mal Capone is he's a helicopter pilot.
No shit.
Yeah. Danny, there was a guy that built a medieval castle in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He never finished, and someone else bought it today. It's badass.
Oh, really? I heard about that. Actually, well, in New Mexico and Phoenix, Arizona, out there in the desert, they have they call them the spaceships, the Earth ships.
Yeah, Earth ship.
And all recycled, which was kind of an inspiration to me. Yeah. On one of my other lots, I'm actually thinking of digging a big hole and building a hobbit home and stacking with tires and filling it with dirt and cement. So, you know what? You can take whatever. Like, I'm having a hard time finding this picture, but you got these people's emails and stuff I can send?
No, just pull one up on your phone.
Well, I have it in construction. My house is not.
That doesn't matter. I mean, you can show them. You can show them the construction
pics.
Do that too. You know, partial. Don't you stand outside your house and take shots of it?
I do, but I usually end up going towards my dogs because they're champing around.
Yeah, crazy. But don't you have like if you go into your like now do house search for house.
Okay, just what's down here? They're all down here. So here.
Oh, okay. Okay. So look. So Daniel Miller says DIY, fuck the world, baby. Yeah.
All right. So
Earth ships are the way to go for off grid, says Philip Townsend. Yeah. What do you got?
Okay. So this was one I talked to you on the phone that I poured the slab. That was back in slab days.
Okay. So here is oops.
So that was the beginning.
Yeah. Let me hide this so I get a little bit more room right there. So that is the beginning.
And that is my like living room area now. And behind that piece of wood is my custom bathroom where I have all that like waterfall Jamaican rocks and stuff.
Okay, cool.
All right. That's that one.
You got another one?
Yeah, I got lots of them.
Okay, cool.
This was the second story that I started building. I did it pretty much. I had a neighbor help me. It was a 60s.
Where'd you get the lumber?
That lumber. So the bones I bought some. Like I say, my house is about 88% upcycled. You can see on the floor that plywood I pulled from another house that was getting tore down, and you can see where like the tar was and stuff. You can see the stripes.
Okay.
So let's see. Let me show you updated. This is then about a month, 2 months after that, that was the downstairs where the open door is, and a window that wasn't cut in the second story.
That's crazy.
So, and that was like all to the right. You see where that plywood's different color, all recycled graveyard lumber from the local hardware store.
Wow.
So you can do that too. And then as it progressed, you get the bones, highlight the bones up there, get that second floor, getting ready to close it off. And
show them the inside.
Oh, the inside. This was the stairwell that I did pretty much all by myself. I had a couple people help me here and there, but pretty much every nail, every screw. Let's see. Let's say go the wrong way. Okay, this is this next phase where you start doing the siding or the log or the cedar. You wrap it. So that was me wrapping it. And then I got a video, but the video shows the windows. Oh, one of the windows. Oh, and then here, let me tell you about this guy. These are all vintage bricks. A neighbor gave me about 10,000 bricks for free. All I had to do was get them out of his yard. Now, if I wanted to pallet those, I probably could have sold them about $400 a pallet. And I use those on the front of my house and around. So I got, I'll show you a picture. It's brick and then siding that I recycled from my house I tore down. And then I'm going to put shingles, shake shingles on top. So growing up in Marin County, if anybody's know Marin, Sausalito is big boathouse culture. Big boathouse culture. My dad built a couple of those, and a lot of them, they use a lot of cedar shingles, copper shingles, things like that. So I guess I was always destined. Oh, and then this is me on my roof. I got a tin roof. I could have done regular shingles, but I chose not to because I like the sound of the rain hitting the roof. Like, I don't know, hot chocolate on a rainy day, movie, and
yeah,
grilled cheese and some tomato soup, So that sound of rain,
chocolate,
the rain just hitting the roof. But let me show you this. So this is not my house. This is a property that is just sitting, and it's not for sale. But I was driving through a small town. I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be a great bakery or cafe or whatever. And I'm sure if someone did the research and talked to the owner, you could probably pick it up for cheap because it's just sitting there. It's abandoned. There's opportunity everywhere.
Yep. You just got to be willing to go for it, right?
Yeah.
And just
sure do.
Okay. So let's see. So true. People throw things away that need a $10 part. You could sell for 200 with 30 minutes of your time.
All day long.
Yep. Yeah, man. Alex says, Mikey, what's better bang for buck, high-end teals or high-end Maggies? Okay. So, bang for buck, man. Teal on the used market is a pretty good price. And teal is a really good speaker. Teal is probably harder to drive than a Maggie. Teal is probably a little more tricky for setup than a Maggie is, but Maggies are pretty challenging too. I'd give the edge to the Maggie. Just because I like panel speakers, I would give it to the Maggie. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, buddy, appreciate the how to listen videos. Thanks, buddy. You bet, man. Teacher Chris says tube rolling tubes in a built phono section make a difference. Of course they do. Tube rolling always makes a difference. The tubes that you choose will make or break that piece of gear. Totally. It all depends on what tubes you put in there. Larry says, spin your CD disc and transfer to file, then play. Yeah, better transports, transfer to file, eliminate jitter, like PS Audio new SACD transport. Yeah, I guess if you're into those things, I use a once you rip it though, the jitter is much less of a thing. It's good to see you guys are still friends after all these years. Cheers and juice get fired up. Rob Ali.
Oh, Robbie, what's up, my man?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a trip, man. Okay, so Rob Ali is joining us. Rob used to work with us. He managed a crew as well. He's old school, so he must have seen. Did you post?
I did. I posted on my thing, just in case.
I was like, juice get fired up. Like this dude's, and then I'm like, oh, Rob Ali. What a trip, Robbie. Where are you, brother? What state are you in, man? You in like Pennsylvania or Jersey Florida. Or some shit? Florida?
Yeah, he's in Florida. I think he's in Florida.
Right on, brother. What are you doing with yourself, Rob? You still pitching art?
Yeah, actually. I think
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob, if you still got an art, you got to tell us. Do you still got an art gig? Hey, Mikey. Oh, yeah, Professor Jim. I know. I tried to get with you. Good info and various options for radios. Give me a call anytime. Okay, so we'll talk tomorrow, brother. Tommy, I don't think they are new in box, but I will find out what it is. Maybe we can fight over it or divvy it up. Sure, just find out what it is. I mean, I'm not that motivated to do a car system, but when it's cool shit like old Orion or PPI, if in PPI when it was made in America, not when it was made in Korea, you know, and you know that's the shit that I like, and I might be interested because they don't come up that often. So smart, thought out, and creative. Yeah, exactly, man. It takes. Danny, are you doing videos to share your upcycled construction journey? I've told him he needs to, Jason. Yeah,
guys, honestly, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
I live, like I say, I live a simple life. I got a simple phone. I do have internet and I have a laptop, but this social media, YouTube, it's kind of new to me. So I'm here listening and learning. I've learned more about audio just listening to you guys ask the questions you're asking me. If I prefer, I like the old school 8-track. I don't know if you can hook up one of your systems to that, but
they're around, dude. You probably get them for a song.
Well, I got an old record player right now and an old timey radio out of wood, and so. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna launch maybe a podcast or a channel.
He does it right now on his Facebook. He does these little reels, shorts, Facebook reels, where he shows what he's doing, and I'm like, dude, you need to put that shit on YouTube. Totally show how you're doing what you do. Show it when you find this stuff, when you pull up to the side of the street and you find this shit or whatever. Tell people how it's done and show people. You will have a following. It is mass appeal. What I do is very small niche. What you're talking about, everybody get in.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, someone had to tell me. I get in that zone and I just find something. I just
when you get it, you tell us, then I'll tell these guys, and then we'll help you get your jump start, man.
Yeah, and my house in Arkansas,
just like we're gonna do for Shane.
My house in Arkansas is called the Arkansas Fort, and now it's the Arkansas Fort Project, and it's kind of going off that. So that's just that property. Not to mention the tiny homes on a build. And the bakery I'm going to build in historical buildings.
He wants to do the what do they call those? The painted ladies?
Yeah. So
in San Francisco, what are they called?
They're called the painted ladies.
Painted ladies. Yeah, so if you know San Francisco, you'll know what the painted ladies are. It's a row of houses that is one of the most photographed spots in San Francisco. And it's these old school
Victorian homes.
Victorian homes that are right by each other. So he's going to do a mini style of that. But
tiny home version.
So that'll be really
and
cool.
I'm gonna try to make 3 of them at least senior friendly, because senior housing in that area is expensive, and to live by yourself. So try to help out
killer,
community.
Man. Way to go. Yeah. Would swapping out the tubes in a built-in phono section make a sonic difference? Absolutely. Anywhere you can swap tubes, if you do swap tubes, will make a huge difference. Absolutely. Philip Townsend said, Earth Cobb and Earthships buildings are great for recording and listening. I've done several recordings in Earthships.
Oh, wow.
Better than any other studio I've recorded, and that's super cool, man. You probably get the vibration of the planet in there too, which, I mean, that would be the ether, that we could that's probably pretty cool.
So the Cobb home, the underground Hobbit home, I could turn that into a recording studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. That's what
you just inspired me, Philip.
It's
Mr.
good.
Townsend. Thank you.
Acoustically, it's killer.
Oh, awesome.
Freddie De Leon says tin roof rusted. B-52s, Mikey.
Yeah.
From Georgia, like you. Yeah, baby.
Tin roof rusted.
Yeah, you know that. I don't remember it. Wife and I are getting land in between Phoenix, Arizona and the Mojave Desert, next door, 20 minutes drive from our driveway. Sweet, man. There you go.
That's it.
Hope you don't mind the heat, especially for houses built on Indian burial grounds. Yeah, that's where you have Indian mounds where you are, right? They're not burial grounds.
Where I'm at?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's an archaeological state park that's not about a quarter mile away. It's a big anchor. It's with the DeSoto. I don't know a lot. I'm not the interpreter. My friend is, but I'm so busy doing my projects. I don't have time to make it over there right now.
Found the hi-fi audio system I want. Onkyo Integra from the mid-'80s. Cool. Do it. Do it. Man, I'm going to make a video for you guys. I think it's going to be one of the next videos. Part of I'm going to do a regular kind of a thing each week. Okay. I'm going to still do my, starting tomorrow, you're going to get your Mikey morning audio show. And I am going to start, feeding back on some of the marketing and things that I get in my stream every day from Google, and just going over it and talking about it with you guys. I saw these new Magico speakers that were just released, these new Magicos, and I looked at them and they're monitor speakers, right? And all they are is 6 pieces of plate aluminum, you know, screwed together with a driver and 2 drivers, a woofer and a tweeter. And they're 10 grand, right? They're 10 grand. And it's like, it just goes to show how simple some of this stuff is. It's really nothing more than 6 pieces of plate aluminum with 2 drivers on it. Yeah, maybe they're special tweak drivers or whatever, but for $10,000, it's like, and then you look at what I sell, and of course, this is aimed at it's aimed at pumping up what I sell, right? Because I'm showing you examples of why what I sell is so great. And I use examples of other stuff to say, look at the competition and look at what look at what they're charging. And so this Magico is a perfect example of what you get for 10 grand when you're trying to buy monitors. And meanwhile, we've got Fisher and Fishers made out of slate that are $4,500. They're exactly half the price. And with natural material, much more goes into the cabinet than just 4 pieces of plate aluminum. And so anyways, I'm going to start doing things like that. And then also, and I don't know if I do this, but I'm going to start looking at some of the editorials, and then we're going to ask ourselves, look at what this person is saying. And I'm going to give a different, what is it called? Point, counterpoint, you know, remember that
perspective.
thing? A different perspective.
Yeah.
I'm going to skew it and give you a different perspective of how they're talking about things, so we can look at it and say, what is this person saying, first of all? Second of all, who is this person and what is their background? One person she was writing a thing about how great vinyl is. She's going to embrace vinyl again and get rid of digital, you know? And I'm like, and then I looked at all her other articles, and she's a video person. All she's talking about, all the other stuff is about videos and this player and what Netflix is doing, and HBO Max has this video out and movie. She's like a movie critic person. And then dipping into talking about vinyl and audio. And I'm like, man, some of these people, I think they run out of content or something like that. And then they start talking about audio, you know? It's like, you know, they're into photography one day, and then next day they're all of a sudden audio experts. So it's just kind of funny. And I think it might be worth a gander. It might be kind of fun. So let's see.
I have a question.
What?
Okay, the gentleman was talking about the Cobb homes and the sound studios. What if you made, it might be kind of rough, took a recycled and did a Cobb speaker system with the speakers bouncing with the, like, could you
fall apart?
Well, I mean, what I'm getting at is, could I build you a box out of recycled, some kind of material that you could throw like speakers to get awesome sound? Like, what material would that be? What would I look for? Like, would I have to melt down aluminum? No.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there. No. Because it's not just building a box.
Yeah.
A lot of people get that. And this is a good point, because a lot of people think that building a speaker is just making a box out of something and putting a freaking driver in it. And that's not at all. I've tried, bro. Yeah. It is a black art making a speaker. Okay. The crossover is of utmost importance. And then selecting the complement of drivers and matching them well and getting them to slope right with one another perfectly well with the crossover. It's such a recipe that if it were just building a box and throwing some drivers in there off out of the, you know, off the supply house, anybody could do it, and they would. Now, if you want to do an example of something just for fun, for an art project, giggles, then grab and make some earthen cob clay shit, and grab an old ass pair of speakers that you find at Goodwill or you find thrown out, and just throw those drivers into a mud box and just see what happens. Why
Who
not,
knows, man? Vibrations or something. But you know, now let me ask you a question. Isn't it true that everybody has their own like hearing of what other music, like, so you might create a system for one of your guys on here that might work for one person, but to someone else it might not work for someone else because they're hearing or what they listen to or something like that? Or now, is that true?
I mean, okay, so now we're getting into the whole, you know, ether of it, which is, you know, the only thing that we have in our lives is our perception of what's going on.
Okay.
So if our perception of what's going on makes us happy, then F everything else.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you know?
Understood.
And so that's kind of what you're getting at. But to say, oh, everybody hears totally differently in one thing, and it's totally individualistic and it's totally different. It's not like that. The truth is, I can make something that everybody will think sounds good. Now, some people might not want to say it because they don't, you know, because they want to be right. But I've done this long enough that I think I can create something that, let's put it this way, 96% of everybody will say that's freaking amazing sound.
Yeah, I know. I've been in your room, dude. That room. I'm actually in my house. I'm gonna carve out a little section to build a little sound room just for one chair for myself. And
you should.
Dude, his room is inspiring. Like, it just melts you.
Melts
your ears, bro.
That's what that's so what crazy. It's there for, man. Yeah. It's there for.
Dude, yeah. I fell asleep that one time listening to the Grateful Dead or something.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's good if awesome. You're that comfortable. No square boxing, right? Which would be great for recording something with no square points. Yeah, you can make an igloo out of mud. You know. What's up, Danny? How are you? It's another Daniel. Shane says, hey, Tom Carpenter, how about the old Fosgate Punch 45? That was the shit, bro. The 45 right there. The 45 was the cheater amp of all cheater amps, man. Didn't we load those things down to 1 ohm? Yeah, absolutely. It's a total cheater amp. Same with the Orion HCCAs. Remember those? I mean, full-on cheater amps. The Punch 45 was great. I had a Punch 45 for a long time, and it had the little certificate in it that showed the output. And it was 100 watts, and it was supposed to be 45. They're selling it as 45 watts, but you see the little output on the graph. It was 100 watts. Punch 45s were the shit, you know. 75s and 150s for sure, but the 45 was like such a cool little guy. But it Punch was great because it hit way above its price point. This type of presentation format brings real life experiences. Variety is the spice of life.
Nice.
Yeah, well man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah. Appreciate that. Where are we? Here we are. I lost my spot. Okay, 10K for 2 drivers in a metal box. Duck out of here with that. It's just funny. It's what they're perpetrating. And really, people that don't know any better would fall for it, you know? Drago is my YouTube alias. Yes, we know that. Yep. You could have Mikey versus Jay $50,000 competition. I don't know what that is. Slate speakers are the answer. I mean, I think it's great, man. You know, it's from the earth, and it is killer. These things are great. I've got actually tomorrow. I got a new pallet, you guys. I've got 7 pairs of Slate speakers coming in tomorrow. 5 are pre-sold. I've got the next step up from what I did was I got the next step up from the bookshelf. So for people that don't mind that don't need a stand mount monitor, but you know, because to me it's like the difference between a monitor and a floor stander. What's the difference? Why you're still eating up the same amount of floor space? But some people just want freaking monitors. I'm like, I myself personally, unless I'm putting that on a tabletop, if I'm going to have it in the room, why would I want a stand mount monitor in the room? I'll just put a freaking floor stander and get better bass output. So I have something coming up, which will be the floor standing version, the next step up from the SN70s, which will be, actually, I skipped the 170 and I went right to the 270. So these are 270s. And I think they are like $7,500 for a pair of floor standers. But I'm bringing you guys the goods. I am bringing you guys the goods. These are things that I'm in here to crush the competition and bring you guys really, really great products at very reasonable prices. Danny confirms with us it is a black art. Let's see. Getting the drivers mate well is a pain in the ass. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Put your drivers in earth boxes. Slate. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true, man. Audio man cave. That's right. You could make them. I thought of putting speakers in the walls, man. I have some furred out things that would be super cool. Have I heard the Vinny Rossi Brahma amplifier? I have. As a matter of fact, let's see. I just sold a guy a Playback Designs The Vinny Rossi should be on my website up for sale. If you guys want to use Vinny Rossi, Playback Designs beats it out. Yeah, but it doesn't have an amplifier in it, but he doesn't care. He's going to sell his integrated Vinny Rossi and go to separates. He's gonna, let's see, I think he's got a Roland still that he bought from me. Yeah, Vinny Rossi stuff is great if you can get it half price. I think at some point it went up to like 30 grand. Vinny is a really amazing guy. The product is great. I think at its full price, it's a little bit ambitious. It's a very good piece, nothing wrong with it, but buy it half price, find it used. That's my recommendation. Fosgate Punch 160 is how us kids rolled in high school. You know it, brother, for sure, man. I've got a Tube Driver Blue sitting up there. You guys remember Tube Driver from Butler? I wonder if Butler Audio is still around. He made some monoblock speakers called the Monads. And it was funny because like the Gonads. I think he called it the Monad. Let's see.
Plan words. Dirty old man.
Let's see. Butler Audio. Is it called the Monad? Yep. Monad A1. How could you call the damn thing a Monad?
It's probably
everybody's going to call it the Gonad.
Yeah, but back in the day, was that even was the Gonad's a word yet?
BK Butler. Yeah, this is from 2006. Remember that? I remember when this came out in 2006. The Butler Audio Monad. Pretty strongly well built. I wonder if BK Butler's still around, man. That guy made some interesting stuff. Formerly Butler Audio Modulus. Interesting. So anyway, so EV or Porsche 911. Porsche for sure, Jack. I mean, I'm just showing that damn thing. That was clickbait. That was so I could get a whole bunch of people to look at the video and then use the Tesla word to get people to the Mikey channel. If that wasn't obvious, I don't know what was. I can't stand electric cars. I know they're great and they're better, but I'm not that, dude. I want the gas guzzling, oil burning frickin' Porsche growling down the frickin' track and eating everybody else for lunch. I don't give a shit if the Tesla's quicker, whatever. It's got no soul. It's a freaking Tesla is like some of these audio systems that's just too perfect. It doesn't have any spirit, doesn't have any soul. To me, that is, okay. I like Harley. I like Ducati. I buy the Ducati because I love the way it sounds. I don't have the V4. I have the V2 because I like the sound better. So yeah, it's no question. It's definitely the Porsche, Jack. He's commenting on I put a small video up where I was at the track the other day. We were doing shifter cart. We're playing around in shifter carts. If nobody's ever been on the damn track with the shifter cart, holy shit, get on the track with the 250 two-stroke shifter cart and fucking see what pulling 3Gs is like, man. It's the most engaged, enthralling race experience you'll ever do, man. And you're not going to crash a $200,000 Porsche. I've got a Butler Audio 5-channel tube amp for home theater. There you go, man. That's cool, and it sounds amazing. Yeah, he made some great stuff. A lot of companies focus on very high frequency range, but how important is this? It is important, Eric, to a certain degree, right? Because it supports the harmonics that are within our hearing range. So when it goes up that high, it just gives a structure for support of the stuff that is in our hearing range. But yeah, you can't even hear shit. I'm lucky if I can hear probably over 12K, we just don't hear. And the older we get, the worse it gets. But for somehow it just makes a difference. I've heard high bandwidth amplifiers on high bandwidth speakers, and it sounds great. Jeff Rowland website does not have 555. Why? Because he's dragging ass. There's no freaking reason for it. Okay. He just hasn't put that shit up there. I don't know why. I don't know what he's waiting for. I need to call him up and bust his balls a little bit. That's all there is to it, because it needs to be up there. It is released. I brought it out and it is released, but not having it up there is just, I don't know why he's not done it yet, but it is very much in production.
Everybody needs a good ball busting every once in a while.
Everybody needs a good ball busting, especially a 6'2" motocross racer. He's probably 6'4".
No shit.
And he's an accomplished off-road rider. He's like Malcolm. Malcolm, you're a big, tall ass galoot on a motocross bike. I don't understand how you guys so big torque motocross bikes like that. Malcolm, if you guys see on here, Mal Capone is an ex-Supercross rider. This guy could launch a freaking, what did you have, a 250 or a 450? Malcolm could launch his motorcycle like freaking 30 feet in the air. Tabletop, do you ever do flips and shit like that? I know you could do a tabletop. And Jeff Rowland, motocross too, and he's 6'4", you know. I mean, the guy's a giant, you know. I guess now that I think about it, motocross bikes are so tall that maybe it's good for these guys, because I wouldn't be able to touch on those motocross. Butler tube driver guitar pedal. Yes, that was the first pedal to use a 12AX7 for gain. Yeah, man, I remember Butler did do guitars, and so does James Demeter, and I know Demeter pretty well. I'm running 2 12-volt. Oh, he's got the Milbert BAM. That's called a BAM. Milbert tube amps on my rig, still in production. He uses car. Those are car amps that he uses in his rig. Costa uses the BAM. What was it called? The BAM 25 or the BAM 15 or something. It was a Class A tube that was like 15 watts or something like that, if I remember. And it was called a BAM, wasn't it, Costa? Jack, wow, you almost passed out. From what, brother? Oh, because you thought I was into freaking electric cars? Nice play on clickbait, Mikey. Exactly, man. You got to use the word Tesla when you can, man. Look at all the views that thing. I think it's got 10,000 views, and so it brings people into my realm. Tesla is like a ghost. What does that mean, man? I don't know. What do you mean by that? I'll agree to it. I believe you. I just don't know what you mean. Thought you went for the EV. No, I did not go for the EV. I would much rather have a Porsche. In fact, I'd rather have a Ferrari, you know, not even as fast as a Porsche, not even as well designed, most likely, but the Ferrari is so much more cool factor. And it's older tech, probably Ferrari, you know, but something about Ferrari has always just slayed me. It just gets me right in the feels, man. When I see those things, certain ones, not the sharp ones, but the curvy ones, it's like something just shot me. It's like Cupid just shot its damn fucking car arrow into my heart. You know, I'm like, ugh, I'm done. Wish if I could do it, I would have done it. I'll do it someday, maybe.
What Ferrari is your favorite Ferrari?
Oh, I would say the 288 GTO, like the older ones, you know, just the cool old visceral, like carbureted stinky ass, you know, like yeah. There
you go.
Yeah, like, you know,
what about Porsche? What's your favorite Porsche?
911. Yeah. But I don't even like, I mean, the GT2 and GT3 are freaking totally cool. I've been around the track in a GT, both of those, as a passenger, but I like the 911, the classic one with no tail on it. No tail. Just, I like its little beetle bug ass and squat with some wide, like a C4. Super cool car. Jason has a Porsche. Jason. So let's see. My son Dustin just walked by. 2 thumbs up saying, "Oh, CD Mikey." Right on, Dustin. Thumbs up to you, Justin. You rock, buddy. Car talk. Fastest car I've ever driven. 23 Tesla Plaid. You drove a Plaid. Okay. Second fastest car. 22 911 Turbo S. Tuned. Takeaway. There's no substitute for a Porsche. Of course not. There isn't. Jason has a Porsche. Jason, actually, Jack, who we're talking to right here, Jack used to have a Porsche. He sold it. So now he just reminisces about the days of his Porsche.
But you have that right. I mean,
Jason still has a Porsche, and he does track days. Yep.
You had the what, 944?
I had a 944 turbo.
Do you remember we were racing down 95 to Miami, and I was in a Day Soul, I think.
Yeah.
I was souped up, and a blue hair and a Cadillac passed us at like 120.
Wow, no.
Do you remember that?
No,
that was a funny day.
I don't remember a lot from back then.
Sorry.
There's a lot.
I don't want to bring up any therapy lessons.
Yeah. Mal Capone 90 says 90 feet. Are you trying to say 90 feet? If you're trying to say 90 feet, I would have a hard time believing that, my friend. No flips. Okay. Superman only. So he would launch. He was a launcher. People over 6 foot scare me. I'm only 5'4".
Hey,
that's little, brother.
I'm only 5'5.5".
You're 5'5.5".
We're in the same. We're in the same demographic.
Okay, Costa says BAM. See, BAM. Yeah, 35 watts. BAM 235. So Jack's Porsche. No, you had 600 on yours. Oh, it has an excellent stereo. Yeah, you know it. EVs, especially Tesla, suck balls. Yeah, there you go, Freddie.
Oh,
Cheap
Wranglers, yeah.
Wrangler. I even have crank windows. There you go. You're going to be EMP proof, bro.
Yeah.
If you got crank windows, that means the EMP won't take your vehicle out, hopefully.
Hey, can I share a story about windows real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the old Windows, we all cranked it up. My teenager's friend's son was in the back, and he couldn't hear me. He was like this. And I'm like, what's that? He wanted me to roll the window down because this is what he knew by the little trigger. Versus us go, because I did this and he didn't know what I was talking about.
So
Funny story, man.
Yeah, I've heard somebody else said something about like the phone, like when we would go like this.
We would go like this, and they go
like this.
They go like this, and
yeah.
we'd go, call me.
But they go like this. Call me. That's funny shit. Okay, someone says you look like a singer called Joe Vasconcelos. Okay, you look famous, dude.
I do, or you?
You do. You look like a singer. I look like something else.
I wanted to go to karaoke tonight, actually.
Travis Pastrana did at 6'4". Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't know he was that tall, man. I mean, I definitely know the kid, but I didn't know he was that.
Hey, does anybody know a guy named Byerly, motocross guy?
I don't know. Ask Malcolm. I have a supercharged Corvette Z06 and like driving Tesla dual motor more. Why, Brent? Why? Tell us why. Corvette sounds like it's more fun. And if you want to sell your Corvette or you want to trade for hi-fi, call me up, man.
You can always put a little computer chip and get more horsepower too in those Vets.
Yeah. Almost bought a 92 Ferrari Spider, but went with the Porsche 993. There you go. Mal Capone says 90 feet. How high was the jump? Okay, so that's what I want to know. The jump was probably 35 feet, which would mean, 60 foot. 60 foot of air. I don't know, Malcolm. Malcolm, that sounds like a lot, brother. I have a hard time believing that. 90 feet is extremely high. That's ridiculous high. How high was the jump to begin with? 90-foot distance or 90-foot height? Because that's ridiculously high, brother. Like, let's look. Because how high do... And I'm sorry to not believe you, Malcolm, but that just sounds so freaking crazy. Truth about the difference between, okay, how high do they jump? Okay, let's see. Oh, come on. I have to scroll through frequently asked questions. Let me get something. Supercross, 70 horsepower, 220. Okay, everything you need to know. Length of jumps, not length of jumps. What is the length? Supercross jump distances, 90 feet. Normally range somewhere between, the triples normally range between 70 and 90 feet. Okay. So I've heard about, they're about 65 feet. Big ones are normal size ones. World's largest motocross jump. No, jump dimensions. I'm not getting, how high do supercrossers jump? Supercross jump. Let's see. Supercross can jump at 250, accelerating hard. Length of jumps. No, man. How high do they jump? How high do they jump? Speeds vary. Okay, here we go. How long? What do they? Which motorcycle? Okay, how old? How do I find? How can I go? How long are the races? How many fans? It doesn't say. Where's how high do they jump?
What's the world record? So let's start there.
Okay, let's see.
So why don't you start that? Yeah.
Well, world record will be like something crazy. Let's see.
Average. I don't know. What's the 3 highest?
The world record height is probably Evel Knievel jumping over the Grand Canyon or some shit like that. Robbie Madison, Australian motorcycle, highest jump on a motorcycle. 25 feet from the top of a 10-foot ramp after a run. What? Highest jump on a motorcycle. Guinness World Records. Okay, so here we go. Highest jump on a motorcycle. We got sidetracked here, but we want to see. Achieved a motorcycle jump height of 25 feet from the top of the ramp. 40 feet. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. 90 feet would be ridiculously high.
But that could be the distance. The 90 feet, no?
Distance. Yeah,
Yeah.
90 feet is probably the
distance
distance
that he travels.
of the jump. Like
Yeah.
you jump, you leave the ramp, and you travel 90 feet
Yep.
before you
hit the
land.
ground. Yeah.
I'm talking about high up in the air.
Yeah.
So the record height is 25 feet. So from the top of a jump. So it's 40 feet total, 25 plus the 10-foot ramp. So 35 feet total. Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, it's a triple. Okay, so Malcolm's saying right there. Drago says Fast and Furious in Florida. Yep. Mal Capone tells us it's a triple. So they're 90 feet apart. So he jumps and then lands 90 feet away. That's, oh yeah, look, Malcolm says right there, 18 feet in the air on 90 feet over the ground. Not that great compared to what's normal today. But the record, dude, was what, 25. And so if you're jumping 18 feet, dude, you were pretty damn close to the world record, you know. Jack says he also had the 78 911 SC and tracked a 944 TS track car. Yeah, you showed me pictures of that. Porsche track car equals mid-fi. Yeah, you got this. Steve says more people died or hurt themselves in a real 427 Cobra than any other car. I bet, dude.
Really?
Real man's car. If you can drive that, you can drive. Nothing like the classic car. It's dangerous and incomparably cool. Now, I have a customer who has a 427 Cobra with a built 427 aluminum block, full-on aluminum engine. I went down. It's a super performance, man. I went down and I did a video in his garage. That thing sounded, he said he would let me drive it. And so I can't wait to drive that thing, man. I'm got to be careful not to floor it because it'll spin out. My boss in Boulder had a Husky, tallest MX bike I've ever seen, made for pro basketball players or some shit. Yeah, totally. I had a Husqvarna too. I had cut the seat out and carve it out so that I could tippy toe on it. Am I going to do a video on the Roland 555? Yes, I am. Jump face is approximately 80 degrees. Holy shit. That is wicked, dude.
It's nuts.
80-degree angle.
Yeah.
A 90 degree is straight up.
Yeah, so it's only
what are you talking about?
10%.
So that means it goes like this and it's a lip. So it's like a curve where it's fully curved and then it takes you to the end is 80.
Well, the
vert is 80.
So the vert is at 80%. Yeah, it's 10%
Oh,
deficit.
that's scary as shit, Malcolm. Can't believe you did that shit. BMW M5 is a sleeper, no doubt it is. Mal Capone, okay, right here, just got a M6 their GTN 25. So the M5, I don't know what that's compared to Malcolm's M6 is 600 horsepower, freaking gold. It's a limited. Tell us what you got. It's a complete carbon fiber top on it, man. So we know about the M series. Malcolm does. Tesla is so much more responsive than the Corvette, more comfortable, and the autopilot is awesome.
I don't know.
Okay, but you're talking about, normal driving stuff around, and it's a C6, which I think I like the C7 better. But I don't know. Let me see what the C6 Corvette looks like.
Poses a question: is Tesla ever going to have a race car market, like their own Tesla race? I can't see it.
C6. Oh, the C6 is still pretty cool. I like the C7 a little better, man. I like the C7. I got a customer who's got a C7. Yeah, that thing's just tougher.
Oh, that gold one's
fucking
sick,
tougher,
dude.
Man. It's more aggressive. They started getting wicked with the sound. I think you lose me at the C8, but the C7 is my fave. I grew up with a Corvette. I grew up with a 69 Stingray, and that's what I learned to drive stick in high school was a Stingray.
Yeah, I had an old Mercedes.
18 feet, says Malcolm. Too old now for track cars, so I'm sim racing rig and I racing. No more Porsche tax. Yep. 300 plus world record. Oh, that's like jumping over a canyon or some shit like that. Only vehicle I got is my own 2 feet and some moccasins, man. I got some killer moccasins. I've had some circuit racetracks are not allowing Teslas due to fire danger. Wow.
Is that one of the concerns now these days?
Like yes, man. Those things overheat and cook.
What was the car that used to jump forward and like kill people in the 80s? I can't remember.
I don't remember. All right, guys. Yeah. So look, it's an hour. I'm giving you guys an hour of time. We're gonna cut out of here. I will be back tomorrow with the morning audio show. We'll start doing audio again, And so thanks for joining us tonight on this little offhanded test run to see how it is, just kind of rolling with something that's not audio. But I guess that's it.
Sprinkling the spice of life, as that one girl
Sprinkling
said.
a little spice on there.
There you
So
go.
thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining. Peace, love, and happiness. We will see you guys tomorrow. See you tomorrow
Tally-ho!
morning for the morning show. All right, guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
See ya.